Welcome to the Germinate Podcast, where agriculture, business, and innovation take root and thrive. I'm Joe Samson, and with nearly 2 decades of experience in agricultural equipment and scaling businesses, I'm here to bring you actionable insights, inspiring stories, and strategic advice. Whether you're an industry veteran or just starting out, this podcast is your guide to cultivating ideas, expanding your knowledge, and growing your venture. So let's get started and germinate your path to success. This episode is brought to you by Haven Steel, one of the newest supporters we have here on the Germinate Podcast, and we couldn't be more grateful to have them on board. They are specialty heat treaters who've mastered the art of steel form products built to last longer and deliver the kind of durability manufacturers depend on. They support businesses throughout the globe with American-made reliability, but really here's what I appreciate the most about Haven. They're genuinely great people first. Owner Ken Brown and his team carry a purpose and a drive that's rare in today's business world. They don't just work hard on their 2 plants in Haven, Kansas and McKinsey, Tennessee. They care. They put their customers first, they show up when it matters, and they stand behind every product they manufacture. So if you manufacture agricultural equipment or distribute heat-treated components, Haven Steel is the only name you need to call. And I'll say this, Haven Steel is up to something special. They are investing, expanding, and stepping into a new chapter that's going to get this industry's attention. So stay tuned, everyone. Keep your eye on Haven Steel and learn more at havensteel.com, havensteel.com. All right, folks, welcome back to the Germinate Podcast. We appreciate you guys coming along board or coming along for the ride with us. It's we're closing out the year. It's December 11th. 2025 as we are recording this, so we're getting close to the year. It's crazy. It's unbelievable how number one, how fast it goes. We can talk about that with our guests coming up here, but secondly, I'm super grateful for the journey and all the glory to God for sure, and grateful to all you out there listening. Also to the sponsors. First and foremost, I want to thank the Farm Equipment Manufacturers Association. I've said this so many times. I would not be where I'm sitting today without this organization. So for all those out there that are looking to join a network, an organization, find like-minded folks to talk to about business, really about life, about directions to take your business, about finding new partnerships, there's no better spot on earth than Farm Equipment Manufacturers Association. We call it the other FEMA, F-E-M-A. Farmequip.org is their website. FARMEQUIP.org is the FEMA website. Click on that. You'll find out more information. Reach out to me. We can get you involved. We have now partnered with the Farm Equipment Manufacturers Association. We're going to talk about that a little bit later here too. About just pumping some horsepower back into the organization and taking something that's already super strong and adding horsepower. And I think it's a super exciting future. So, okay, let's get into the episode. You were making fun of me how I was introducing a previous guest. So now I'm going to introduce Mr. Tim Burenga again for the second time around. He is the dude, you are a true legend in the old industry. I'm going to say it. And maybe Mr. Ben's going to have a few words with you, but you've been around the block a time or two, and I'm super happy to have you back. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Tim Burenga. Thank you, man. How are you?
I appreciate it. Glad to be here, Joe. And although you didn't do what we agreed to, I asked you to introduce me like Bruce Buffer does for the MMA fights. But hey, we can work on that next time.
Right. Yeah. Let's get ready to rumble. No, it's good to have you, man. It's like I said earlier when we were talking, you are going to. This will probably come out January first week in January 2026. So a lot of folks are going to be looking at people like you, a thought leader in this industry, to kind of figure out where we're at in this market. I was telling you before, like, it does feel there's somewhat of a weird reset here. I hear a lot of people saying, well, we're just going to kind of wait for it's agriculture. The market always comes back. I'm not sure that's a great strategy this time around, because it does feel like it is a little bit different for whatever reasons. There's so much going on in the world. But when I say, let's just wait for the market to come back, what's your reaction to that? I mean, immediately off the cusp here, what's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, the adage has always been everybody's going to eat. And we are seeing certain market sectors showing signs of recovery and growth. I've told a lot of people this fall when I talk to them, the livestock and forage industry are hot. They're spending money. All the fall trade shows we did from September on, anything in those markets was selling, and people were walking in and buying. And we've seen, something that's helping us right now is this is the first time in 5 years that we've had early December snows across the Midwest. And that's really give us a little bit of a boost this last month, and getting the phone ringing again, and getting everybody excited. So we're happy to see that. That's the great thing about our market. It's always 100% weather driven.
Yeah.
As far as row crop, from everybody I've talked to, and we're really not into row crop too much. It's not going to be so great next year. It's going to take all of 26 to recover, but there's other market segments that are showing signs of growth and improvement. And you think back to a gentleman you had on a couple weeks ago, Colin, and what him and Chris are doing at FEMA with the technology track and bringing people in and trying to get us to think, all right, how do we make dumb iron smart? How do we adapt to this autonomous environment that agriculture is slowly shifting to? And anybody that is focusing on that or spending time researching on that, I think is going to be successful and have a leg up on all the competition going forward. I mean, we're always going to have simple attachments and simple machines, but as anybody knows in our industry, it's very challenging to compete with the global market. Right now, we're a little bit protected with the tariffs that are going on. What's going to happen in 3 years? I have no idea.
Sure.
But it could go back to being a very cutthroat, low margin market again. And so we need to prepare while we have time right now, and while things are starting to improve. So not sure if I answered your question, Joe, but like certain areas that there's potential. There's other areas that, hey, it's going to be a year or two before we see an improvement.
I think you actually answered it perfectly because you said, "Hey, we have to prepare and maybe re-strategize, rethink, who we work with and who we partner with." And to your point, like with Colin, what he's doing at Mock and some of that technology, getting it involved and not being scared of it. Some of the things I heard at the summer farm shows were a little bit alarming to me. Where, it was typically from the growers. They were saying things like, "Oh, there's too much technology out there. It's too confusing. It's too scary for me." And I think to myself, it's probably what we all said about these things, 15, 20 years or so ago. So I think you're right in saying, let's adapt and try to find, and I think you used the word prepare. Let's prepare for this might not be the right idea. It might not come back for 2 or 3 years, specifically in the row crop. So diversify yourself as much as you possibly can. And I know that's a big part of what you guys try to do over there. Just try to bring options and opportunity towards WorkSaver, right?
Oh, yes, yeah. Anytime we've been through a slowdown, we just pour money into research and development. And, we have over 30 projects coming out next
Wow.
year. And
Wow.
we also are developing a couple new machines to go into other markets other than agriculture and light construction. I think everybody's trying to do that right now. Everybody's looking
Yeah.
to, how can
Yeah.
I protect myself from the next opportunity when
Hmm.
commodity prices go in half. So
Yeah.
anyway.
What about doing the simple things again? And you talked to, if we talk a little bit kind of like what our strategy is going on at FEMA. One of the most important, I really look at FEMA kind of like is three major target areas to start with. One of those would be to target, uh let's get the member profile and the member directory as up to date as possible, because what you can do today with email addresses, the right names. I mean, even mobile numbers with target direct marketing with text, but make sure we have the right names in the membership. That's a very simple and easy thing, but it's often overlooked. And there's a lot of simple and easy things in businesses similar to that are just kind of overlooked. And maybe we should just be like, wait a minute here. It's kind of like the whole Vince Lombardi thing. Like, gentlemen, this is a football. Remember, let's start with that. I don't know if there's a question in there at all, but I think that's maybe a decent strategy too, is go back to some of the simple things. We've overcomplicated business with, I don't know, processes after this, after that, after that. And I think getting back to the basics a little bit and realizing, hey, we're in business to kind of generate revenue and make money and find opportunities. And I don't know, what's your take on that when I make a comment like that?
A lot of rambling. No, Joe.
Yeah.
You make some great points.
Yeah.
Yes, it is complicated in today's industry. There are so many different things coming at you, whether it be electronic phone calls, whatever. Trying to cipher through all this and pick the best direction to take your company and still be profitable and still grow is becoming more and more challenging. And we were talking about the simple things, kind of the dumb iron, and
Yeah.
can we still do it in the U.S.? Well, the answer is it can be done, but it takes a lot of investment and time into technology and, making sure that you have the most efficient method of producing the parts. And the technology, as you well know, is always changing, and trying to keep up with that can be hard. I can give you a current example.
Yeah.
Our laser machines are outdated. They're only 4, 5, and 6 kW. And for the last 4 years, I've been outsourcing all our heavy plate cut to a laser house down in Tennessee. And so we're looking to purchase a 30 kW laser next year to bring that work back in house. And the advantage there is, in the old days on heavy plate, we would profile cut it with the plasma, and then we'd have to put it in the machining center and drill the holes or tap a hole or do a secondary operation. And with the lasers, they're so precise and powerful now that we can have a finished part come off the machine and only handle it once. The other thing is involving technology into your day to day. You and I talked a little bit about AI on the last episode, and how do you utilize that so you're not sitting there scrolling through endless amounts of data and come to the answer the quickest. Everybody's using it for sales and marketing right now. What I'm excited about for next year, as our economy and as our company continues to grow and cash flows improve, we have a large expansion plan for 2026, and using AI to sort through the HR data. You can get bombarded with hundreds of resumes. In fact, there's a pretty good sized business closing its doors a few miles away, and we were just down there today for a career day to help resource some of those folks. And yeah, you get 50 applicants. How do we sort through that? So I'm excited about using AI to help with that process as well. And in the manufacturing, I could see inventory management, inventory ordering, things of that being utilized as we go forward. So kind of my goal, you and I are about the same age, is to hire younger people that understand this better than me and
Yeah.
implement it more in our processes. And
Yeah.
that was the biggest challenge we had as a manufacturer during the COVID, is the amount of business that just and demand that came from it. It was 200 to 300% depending on the products. And one thing that we did is we were very nimble and flexible in bringing on other manufacturers in the Midwest, working with suppliers both domestic and overseas, and making sure that the supply chain never shut off. Now we still didn't succeed with being able to produce enough every month, but we never ran out of materials. We never ran out of components, and that was all done through utilizing some new technologies. And
Right.
and anyway, that's the future. Some of the future of manufacturing is just utilizing technology and taking some of the human element out of it. You got to be careful because as you know, bad data in, bad data out. So you got to
Right.
make sure it's set up correctly, and you still have a competent person reviewing it. But I think that's how we're going to be able to do more with less. Everybody, it's more with less, and how do we get it
Yeah.
done?
It's becoming more efficient. And I think that's the spirit of the short line industry in and of itself. I mean, you look back on your, WorkSaver's history and, you name it, you can name not a million, but a lot of different companies similar to WorkSaver, where it was, one of the greatest advantages of the short line industry is really just that speed to market. So
Mm-hmm.
my comment when I said, we're trying to put in, I don't want to say the major type processes in place, because everybody tries to copy a little bit about what the majors are doing. I mean, let's just be honest. But that being said, the major advantage to the short line industry is you have 30 different projects going on in R&D right now, and you can get those out into the fields, into market super quick. And that is a huge, huge advantage for whatever the next thing is going to be. And, hopefully one of those 30 projects or 30 of those 30 projects for you is going to work out, and I think that's the real spirit of this industry. And so my take is, yeah, use all the resources you possibly can to keep that spirit sort of alive, right?
Mm-hmm. No, very much so. And you mentioned the concerning word here, marketing.
Yeah.
That is going to be a real opportunity going forward for smaller manufacturers. And a few years ago, I had the honor of chairing the membership committee for
Mm-hmm.
FEMA.
Yeah.
And anyway, I got to talk to a lot of the new members and listen to some of their opportunities they have with, hey, I've got this idea, I've got this great design. How do I get it to market? And a lot of them, their only avenue is direct to consumer through a platform like Amazon or eBay or something of
Mm-hmm.
that nature. Getting into the dealer network, getting into the distributor network, that takes years. And it takes a lot of work to build those relationships and have that level of supply to the market. So
Yeah. Oh,
anyway, what I see going forward, we had that when we were in Vegas a month ago for the 75th FEMA. We had that dealer panel where we brought in 4 dealers across the U.S. and
mm-hmm.
one of them was a big mainline, one was Shortline only. The other 2 had a little bit smaller dealerships. They weren't multi locations.
Yeah, they were
And
independents. Yep.
yeah, the over the main message from all of them, depending on how many lines or do they have a major or not, is the ease of doing business with. And that's
Right.
something that we work on nonstop over here, is that not only do we need to be the easiest to order from, we got to be the easiest to warranty, we got to be the easiest to service, we got to be the easiest to deliver. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and that's going to be key in the success of manufacturing going forward.
Yeah. How do you find those things? I mean, how do you even know to be, it's so true, by the way. Yeah. Be the easiest to do business with. I mean, it's sort of like the Amazon method. That's why we all use Amazon and why boxes are showing up on porches, all throughout the month of December, like, multiple times a day. It's because it's super easy. You click buy, right? So how your approach to that is give us a few hows on that. Like, how do you become how do you work on your deliveries, for instance? Is that all done on the manufacturing side of things, or is that a communication with your sales team, a combination of both? I mean, what's
Yes.
your kind? Yeah. Okay.
So, part of our business is contract manufacturing. So we do build product for some of the majors. And when you work with a large company, they grade you on every aspect. They
Right.
even know your underwear size on a given day. And anyway, that really helps when you have that level of metrics being watched and being communicated. It helps us to emulate that and copy it on the WorkSaver side, and that's the way we do it. And like I said, it's a lot of work, and some people think it's frivolous and not worth their while. But I'm telling you, going forward to be successful, you need to be that person that can get the product to the market quick, and they can be a sale and forget. Not going to have a problem, and then they're just going to come back to you for loyalty and the fact that your products work.
Yeah. So you said something key there. Because you supply some of the majors, you have to get. Does that mean you get audited on a regular basis, or is it that level of kind of, I don't want to say scrutiny, but they some of them I mean, you can get audited by the majors. I don't know, not every year, but every other year or something like that. But what you're saying is you're just kind of looking at some of their processes or their metrics or their scorecards and then implementing that into your own business, right?
Oh, very much so, yeah. And as far as the audit, it's every day. I mean, they track your on time delivery. They track your warranties. They track service part deliveries and everything. And I hope I don't come off as bragging here, but at WorkSaver we run under 0.1% warranty of gross sales, and on service parts it's 98% same day shipping. And that's
Wow.
the level of service you have to provide to not only play in the contract manufacturing game, but also to be successful in your own game too.
And that circles back to what I originally said, man, because That's business today. I think gone are going to be the days of really long lead times and, 90, 120, 150 days just because. Like, that's not the way the world works anymore. It's not going to reset to that. You've got to be on your game and have scores like that where and it might not have to be that you have to have the shortest lead time, but if you say we're going to deliver on the 22nd of December, you better be damn close to that, or you better have a reason why it's not coming on the 22nd of December. And I think that's just really important moving into this next phase of business. You got to be the fastest to market, and you got to have that score that says, hey, we can back this up. We have the ROI to back this up, sort of like what you just said.
Mm-hmm. And you're hitting on the key word that accountants hate, and that's called inventory. And that's something that's been a problem here in the supply chain since the slowdown in 23. Joe, is like I said, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not trying to make anybody mad, and it's all across the board, and it's all across North America. I mean, that's mainly what we deal in is North America.
Sure.
But the dealers quit putting inventory in because they were running out of cash. Cash got tight because of high used inventories. And so they quit putting inventory in their dealerships. And that created a backflush of demand. And it required us manufacturers and our distributor partners to be quicker on the spot and take care of the retail customers. Now, I think as we get through 26, I'm pretty positive commodity prices and row crop will improve. I think we'll get back to our normal level. But when you have any one sector of the chain of marketing and sales to the end user just say, hey, we're done, it really creates an influx and a bubble that the rest of the chain has to pick up and has to manage. And I can tell you, we're carrying more inventory than we ever have in the past. We built over 500 attachments, so nobody can stock it all. But the common ones we have here ready to ship and make sure that we can supply in a timely manner. Most things 2 weeks is still allowed, but a lot of things are starting to tighten up, and that all came out of the COVID push when people could push a button and it delivered the next day.
Yeah, and before COVID, you remember there was big emphasis on lean and lean manufacturing and all this, and that basically went away during COVID. It was just get me whatever you can, whenever you can, and in a sense, I'll kind of pay whatever you want for it. So do you think we'll get back to like the whole lean stuff again? Will that make a comeback, or will it just be more, we got to get these inventory? I think inventory's getting better. It's maybe not totally cured yet, but you're right in the cascading effect. Like whatever happens upstream is going to happen down here eventually. So what's your take on, is it going to get back to lean? Are we going to go a new direction altogether? What's your take on that?
I think we're going to come out with a hybrid. I think your major players, and this is not just ag, this is any manufacturing, but your large players, they're still going to run lean. They're still going to run their programs, and the normal supply chain's going to have to carry their amount of inventory to make it work for everybody. On the smaller side, I do think it's going to be a hybrid model where we're going to have to be more picky with who we partner with and making sure that our partners are willing to have skin in the game, as they say, and carry the inventory, because any company can carry the inventory for a short time, but overall, you start running into cash situations that the dealer side went through this year. And, he said, so I guess the point I'm trying to make is everybody in the whole chain needs to realize what value they provide to the market and the reason that they get to make the margin they do, and understand that they have to do that going forward.
Yeah. You talked about partners and who, you're going to kind of really look to see, okay, who are we going to partner with now? Who's willing to have skin in the game? And do you like it when your partners are a big part of WorkSaver's overall business? And hear me out here. Do you want a supplier, for instance? Do you want WorkSaver to be 60% of that supplier's business, or would you rather it to be like 10%? There's a fine line there between, do I matter enough to these people, or do I not matter at all? You get what I'm saying? And I feel like there's sort of a shift in that, where it used to be you can't be over a certain percentage of anybody's business because there's too much on your plate, and we have too much skin in the game, to where now it's like what you're saying. I'm hearing that a lot. we need to have these folks have some skin in the game so we actually matter. And then it becomes a true partnership again, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said I do not want to go as high as 60%. 25% is a comfortable level for me because you never know. Things happen. And,
Yeah.
if you lose a quarter of your business, you can recover from that. We did it back in 01 when the big farm store went liquidated and went bankrupt.
Oh, right. I
Yeah,
remember
a
that.
little baptism by fire. But, so like I said, you can recover from those. But, going back to the level of involvement, I'm not saying they have to have an ownership in us or anything. I'm
Yeah.
saying that we have to be ingrained with them. And the cost of doing business is to the point now where it's so fast paced. There's so much going on. You can't sit there and be like, "Hey, Joe, can I check availability on part XYZ?" It all needs to be automated at your fingertips, and that comes from communication and working together
Yeah.
to where it's just seamless transactions. And I see the market going in a lot of different ways, but at the end of the day, it's going to get to the point where our end user is going to be either going to the dealership and ordering the product, or they're going to be ordering it on either their side, our side, or whoever's site, and it's going to go through the normal distribution, the normal transactions that it does today. But we got to integrate all those processes together and work together to make it as seamless as the Amazon and eBay platforms are today.
That's interesting, man. That's really, if you're going to go in that, you're right. That's the way we're all going to have to integrate. I mean, EDI is one thing, but I think it's the next level of things. We're seeing a lot of portals these days with customers that have portals. You have to be integrated with that portal. Your system soon enough might have to be integrated in that portal. Is that an initiative you guys are taking right now? And I mean, that's a big deal.
Every
Man.
customer is different, so
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, on the WorkSaver side, for our distributor partners and our dealer partners, we are trying to get better at communicating inventories, lead times, all this and that, so they don't have to interrupt their business. And that's the other thing, the end user experience, Joe. So, and like I said, the COVID changed this one. But, you go back before COVID, somebody wanted a product, they saw it on our website. They'd call into here. We'd say, "Where are you from?" "Okay, call this warehouse, this distributor warehouse." They call them. "Okay, now call this dealer, go get it." And then they go to the dealer and be like, "Okay, it'll be 6 weeks. Come pick it up."
Yeah.
The days of that are over. It's got to be seamless. "Hey, I found it on my smartphone. I want to buy it. Let's push the button. Okay, it's going to show up here at this location in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Okay."
Wow, that's impressive, man. That you're thinking that way. That's very true.
Well,
But that's
these are
yeah.
for products that don't require a lot of service or training, which is a lot of what WorkSaver does. You take a 24-row planner that needs to be set up and trained on. That's a different story.
It's a little different, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking your simpler attachments that are plug and play. Hey, I've got to do this job. I need this attachment. Boom, I order it. I go pick it up. I do my job. That's the level that type of agriculture and construction is going to get to.
Yeah, I think you're right. When you have, we've always tried to say, okay, we can eliminate, if we put enough processes in place or put enough of this in place, we're not going to have a problem. That's all BS. Their problems happen. What do you think is the best way, or how do you react to problems, or how does WorkSaver react to problems? You have an issue, a customer. Yeah.
We jump on it like it's on fire. When there's a problem, we are Johnny on the spot. We're on it, and we're gonna find a solution. Might not be the correct solution, but we're gonna get you running again. And that's the only way that we've ever done it, and that's the only way I think you can do it to be successful. But I will tell you, during COVID, the supply chain, both domestic and foreign, everybody's going a million miles an hour. Quality suffered, and we started seeing that from 40-year suppliers. We were starting to get rejected stuff in and everything. That required us to look at our QC department and also and expand it. And we actually hired a gentleman who had 40 years in automotive to run it for us. And we had to put in all the checks and implements that all the big players do. And that has been money well spent. At first, I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're just going to slow us down, and it's going to cost more money per product and blah blah blah." But the most expensive thing you can do in the industry is to ship somebody something that doesn't work, and then you got the freight back, you got the pissed off customer, and you get the bad name after a couple of incidences. So anyway, the 100% guaranteed fit and finish, it's worth all the money you have to put into it.
Yeah, and I always say problems happen. It's not really about the problem. I mean, it is. You got to put all those processes and people in place to ensure you try not to have them. But when they do, it's all about how you react to it. Do you, like you said, there's a fire alarm going off. It's go time. We're going to fix this. Yeah, I don't know if you get in your car and drive to them, you get on the phone, whatever it is, let's take care of it and work together with the customer to make sure, okay, we know what happened here. We have the record keeping, we have whatever in place to make sure we understand this and it's not going to happen again. And I think that's one of those simple things in business, Tim, that sometimes it's like, okay, there's a problem. Well, let's send it over to this person over in quality, and then it's got to go over to this process over here. And before you know it, the reaction to the problem was way worse than the actual problem itself. And that's the stuff that I think it's going to have to go away. It's got to go by the wayside, especially in this industry, or otherwise, good luck, because companies like you are going to go ahead and say, hey, no, this is still very important to us and we're going to make it matter. This is kind of who built us, right? I mean, yeah, I love it. What's your take on, if I were to ask you, like, okay, 2026, you have this kind of crystal ball. I don't know what your 2025 is going to end up being, but 2026 is going to be kind of a year that you look back on and say, I'm super glad we partnered with I don't know, this AI company or this software company, or we implemented this. Are you going to look back and say you're glad you did some of those things, or are you going to look back on it and say, oh, I wish I would have done that? What's your thoughts there?
No, every decision I make's right, Joe.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
So everybody knows I shoot straight, and I'll just tell you the truth. But 25 is going to be equal to 24, basically dead level,
Okay.
which is actually good for us because we made quite a few improvements. And every time you slow down, you always realize, hey, that was stupid that we were spending money on this. And it always takes 6 months to a year to get that lined up. So anyway, we're coming into 26 strong, and like I said, with all the new products, I'm really excited about that. But I think I'm going to look back on 26 and be happy about the amount of money and time that we're going to invest in building our team. As I mentioned, everybody knows I have 100 ideas, and I had to pause those the last 2 years because of cash flow. I mean, it's plain and simple. You don't have enough money to do the projects. So
Yeah.
with things improving in 26, we're going to be rolling those out. And like I said, the investment that we're going to put in our human capital here at WorkSaver, I am pumped about, because, it's like serving on the FEMA board. I've been doing that 10 years. I'm kind of out of fresh ideas. They kind of need to replace me. And, it's a natural progression. And that's
happens,
that's why I'm wanting to get some new talent in here, some young talent, bring in the new ideas. How do you guys see agriculture? I've been doing it my whole life. I'm kind of set in my ways. And, I think that's so important for a business, is to constantly bring in the new talent. What's the next generation of our consumers going to need and want and require? And so that's what I'm going to focus on for 26, along with the new products.
That's really cool, man. I like that. I mean, it's kind of like if you go to a church and you see nothing but purple and blue-haired people in the pews. It's all good, but that means that church's not going to last very long, right? I mean, you gotta find a way to connect with the youth, and it's the age old thing. You hear babies crying. It's a good thing. Like, okay, we got another generation coming up here. So you say you're looking for people. What do you have specific? I mean, are you trying to fill sales, marketing roles, engineering roles, R&D roles, all of the above? Is that kind of what you're looking at?
Immediately starting is accounting, marketing, engineering.
Okay.
Then as that grows, we're going to add to our customer service team as well. I'm kind of lucky on the sales side. So the way we have our business structured, there's only 3 of us. And
Yeah.
one guy does OEM sales, the other guy does the WorkSaver distributor dealer sales, and then I'm just kind of the overall guy that sees it all. And for the time being, we got so many projects and customers coming on board, we don't need anybody else. And that's something, I'll just hit on this real quick. So with the tariffs, okay, that we've been 12 months into them, and they are what they are. You like them, you hate them. I'm not going to argue that today.
Right.
But for us manufacturers located in the U.S. that are over 80% U.S. domestic materials and sources, which we're thriving. And we have people coming to us saying, hey, we need to reshore this. Will you make this for us? Can you help us here and there? So that's why I don't need any more help in sales right now. We got to get the engine fired up and get the people staff back up. And during the slowdown in the last 2.5 years, we've had about, I'm gonna say 25% natural attrition in the shop, and that was the level we needed anyway. So we didn't have to lay anybody off. It's just a natural business cycle. So as things continue to improve and progress, we'll be adding more operators and all the different manufacturing cells out in the plant too.
Is it hard for you to kind of swallow you said you were on the FEMA board, you came out, you're an idea guy, you like to generate ideas. Is it hard for you to kind of swallow that and be like, okay, I'm going to start listening now to some of these other voices that come to me and say, hey, what about this and what about that? Is that a hard thing for you, or did you have to learn that, or was that's something that you've always kind of been like? Because it's sometimes leaders of companies they like it to be their idea, instead of somebody else's. Sometimes no, it's got to be my idea, and I don't know. You could kind of get in the way if that's your mentality.
Yeah, luckily my father always, since I was a kid, any project, especially engineering, but this resorts to human interactions as well. Anytime you come up with a solution for something, sit back, tear it apart, and think of 3 other ways to do it. And I've always approached life like that. Is that, hey, here's what I want to do, but is it the best way? And then you involve the team, and that's something here at WorkSaver we full-heartedly believe in. I don't go out and say we're building this and this is the way we're going to do it. We get the whole team involved and we get everybody's input. And man, if you have people buy in, your culture, your life, huge, everybody is just so much happier. And that's just the only way to do it. As far as doing my pro bono board work and all that stuff, I love it. I love it when people challenge me. Sometimes I'll sit there and give the accounting report and nobody asks questions. I'm like, come on, man, ask me something.
Right. Give me something here.
Yeah. But no, like I said, I am all about having fresh ideas, having people, submit. I do get annoyed if they're not qualified ideas and they're ignorant. Like I said, I don't like ignorant ideas, even though sometimes you can make something great out of ignorance. But, like I said, I do like people to be prepared. But no, I'm all about everybody contributing and everybody coming up with the best possible solution.
Yeah. And you've always been like that? Or is that something you've kind of learned here through the years? You've always been like that. I got you. Good for you.
Yeah. My dad had to backhand me a couple times when I was young, but
it's good. You had one of those ignorant ideas, man. You're not going to have
exactly.
one. Be prepared next time. Come with it.
I can jump the truck over railroad tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, it kind of natural segues into kind of a labor market, and I'm very keen on statistics, especially of kind of I guess you can call them executive type positions. I don't really know what the statistics say about, some of these other roles, but I could probably almost guarantee it that people are not staying at positions as long as they once did. Tenures are going way down. I mean, the average tenure, Tim, for a VP of sales, for instance, is like 14 to 16 months today. Now, is that because of the market we're in, or is that, and I'm not talking just agriculture, I'm talking in general, that position, the average tenure is like 16 months. That's barely enough time to learn how to make coffee and find out where the bathroom is. You know what I mean? Let alone your customers, your culture, all the things that really matter. So what do you do to differentiate that? Question one is, do you believe those stats? Question two is, if that's true, what do you do to try to differentiate WorkSaver, your culture? Is that a real thing in your opinion?
Oh, it's 100% a real thing. And there is this idea that's been going on for about 8 years now, that every 18 months you need to better yourself. And if you can jump ship for a pay raise, if you can jump ship to learn another job or take a new title, some people like titles, that's what they're doing. And it's hard to change that culture. the only thing I can say that we do here that we're successful at is still having the family atmosphere, the family culture, and going back to involving everybody into the decisions, letting them be part of the process. That allows us to have a little bit longer tenure with people. But we're no different than anybody else. We still have the ship jumpers, the 12 to 18 months. But we're trying our best to work on that. Probably the biggest thing we've done in the last 3 years to address the labor issue is that we have a regional training center through Southern Illinois here. And anyway, the high school kids from 7 regional areas can go to it, and we sponsor the welding program. And the first year, 2 years ago, when we rolled it out, we only had 8 high school kids take the course. And then this is the second year of it, and we have 24 kids, and
Nice.
the class is full. And then we offer them, tours to come over. Our people will go over and speak to them. And then they also have the opportunity to internship with us over the summer. And that right there, getting to them while they're still in school, is how you combat job jumping. And just make them see that, hey, you don't have to drive 50 miles to make decent money. You can do it here locally. And, once you learn a trade, you got a leg up on some of the people that do 4-year degrees. I mean, you get a 4-year degree in creative book organizing. It's kind of hard to,
Good luck getting a job, right?
find a
Yeah.
job after that where, if
Yeah.
you know how to weld or be an electrician, carpenter, whatever, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. I want to talk about that. So you talked about that last time, but first I just want to ask, what is that? What do you think that is? Why are folks moving so fast now? What is it? Why is the grass greener on the other side? What is that?
I have no idea.
I know. I don't
I
either.
wish I was a better philosopher, Joe, but I don't know. Besides the thought of improving yourself, I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the quick like dopamine hits that we're trying to get now, that everybody's getting now, and that everything's so fast. And I don't know, but you and I, when we established, we're roughly the same age, and our generation was sort of taught, let's, you go to a place, you establish yourself, you learn the ropes, you learn from the people ahead of you. That's another thing that might be lost these days too, is that I found it so valuable in my life to learn from the people that did it before me. And it's no different than in business than it is in life, learning from either it could be your own father or a mentor to how to be a dad or how to be a husband. In sports, learn from the freshman and sophomore. Used to have to learn from the juniors and seniors. Now it's like, if the freshman wants to come in and start right away, in the NFL, you want to be the starting quarterback right away instead of learning from their elders before them. I think there's valuable experience, and it's so good for you to realize that. But man, slowing down long enough to do that, it seems like it's gone. I don't know what it is either, man. I wish somebody had an answer. I have no freaking clue, but it's maddening kind of, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it can be. It can be. It
Yeah.
just gets frustrating because as soon as you get somebody proficient at where they need to be an operator or be a salesperson or engineer or whatever, and then you got to train another one. So
Yeah. Another one.
it does become challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's one thing to sit there and poke at it and pick at it. You're actually trying to do something about it. You talked about it last time, and I think we should unpack this a little bit more. Like, I'd even like to do some sort of a video series on this for the FEMA website as well, Tim. This is a very, very good idea that I haven't heard from a lot of businesses that you guys are doing, with partnering with a school and actually starting young and saying it's okay to be a welder. It's okay to not go to college and get a bunch of debt and then go get a job that is going to take you 20 years to pay that debt off. Talk about the early beginnings of how you started this and where it was then to where it is now. You said you now have 25 students registered. It's a great idea. So give us a little bit of the history behind that.
Well, so, in the FEMA organization, we have some larger members, and I was talking to them about what they were doing about the labor woes. And, they were talking about either they started their own remedial college class to take people that couldn't read a tape measure or do simple skills to learn of those skills so then they could pass their entrance exams to work for them. That was kind of where it started. But we have some members out there that actually are heavy into the STEM programs too, where they're helping the kids with engineering and even more advanced careers than just simple job trades and everything. But no, we just kept talking to our local communities, the local schools, the local representatives and everything. And finally, there was enough of us business owners in Central Illinois that got behind this. And we were able to get the funding and get the school started. And like I said, it's just starting its third year and just continues to grow in popularity with the children. The children were yearning for this. Back in the 90s, that's when we started the mass exodus of manufacturing across the pond, and it was considered a dirty career and a not noble career. And now things are changing, and things are coming back, and people are realizing, hey, I can go to work and wear a white shirt and not get completely filthy like my grandpa did back in the 50s. With the automation and the technology in our machining today. You got to be pretty sharp to be able to do it. And you can make a darn good career doing it as well.
Hey, folks, let's pause the podcast for a second to talk about one of the companies making the Germinate podcast possible. Want to give a huge thanks to GBGI. Here's Mark Adams.
Thanks, Joe. At our shop in Chardon, Ohio, every part we build is made with precision. From the CNC machining to the final inspection, we don't rush because we know your customers can't afford failure. If you're a dealer or OEM who wants reliability built in, give us a look. GBGI, built to spec, built to last. Learn more at gbgiusa.com. GBGI, grow with us.
A exciting partner that we just brought on board. I don't partner with those that I don't believe in. And FEMA is a network that I've been a part of for almost 20 years, over 20 years, actually. And this episode is powered by the Farm Equipment Manufacturers Association. FEMA connects the entire ag equipment ecosystem, not just manufacturers and suppliers, but a wide range of partners who help this industry run, grow, and evolve. In today's world, building farm equipment takes a heck of a lot more than steel, tooling, and production lines. It takes the people and companies who support manufacturers and suppliers behind the scenes, the problem solvers, innovators, creators, integrators, service partners, all you strategic thinkers who help businesses operate smarter, communicate better, and push this industry forward. So whether you build equipment, support the people who build it, or you're a company that wants to plug into the industry in a meaningful way, FEMA is the network to do that. It opens doors. It's where relationships become opportunities, where collaboration creates momentum, and where the future of our industry is being shaped. So if you want to be part of FEMA, reach out to me or reach out to farmequip.org, FARMEQUIP.org, and connect with manufacturers and partners driving agriculture forward. FEMA, where the whole industry connects, grows, and moves together. www.farmequip.org. Is it a model you think a lot of other businesses in certain regions, do you have to be region specific? Meaning, do you have to have a school nearby that would want to partner with you? Or is it a model you think you could mimic throughout the industry? In your opinion?
There's a lot of these that have popped up in the last 8 years. I can tell you in Illinois, about every 30, 40 miles, you'll find a regional training center like we have here. It's become very, very popular. I think you do need a school nearby to do it. And unless you're a very large manufacturer and you can justify, running your own school and your own curriculum. But, I think for normal sized businesses, you're going to need a little bit of a population center and you're going to need some schools nearby to fuel it.
Are you the one that goes out and does some of the training and the I mean, do you go speak to these kids? And I'm asking because you're a passionate guy. You know what I mean? It kind of oozes out of you. I would say you just have that kind of passion, and that being told to a kid that's trying to figure out what they're going to do with their life, I think would go a long ways. Now, maybe you don't do that, but hopefully you're going to say, heck yeah, I'm always there. Do you?
I do. I will tell you training in the plant. Unfortunately, I don't do that much anymore.
Yeah.
I'm on the road a lot, working with customers and developing accounts and building relationships. That's my main driver anymore. I miss the manufacturing world. I did that the first half of my career, and I love it. I love building product. I love working with people, and I love training people. But
Yeah.
my current career is hey, I'm out in the world, and I'm building the relationships. I'm developing the customer base. I'm working with the product development as well. So. It is, like I said, responsibilities change, and they're going to change. They're going to continue to change. Dad's 86, and my partner Mike's 71. So, one of these days we're going to say, "Hey, we don't want to do this anymore." And anyway,
Right.
I'll have to do more of their responsibilities as well. But that's the one thing I love, Joe, is that I started here when I was a kid, and
Yeah.
I've come up through the ranks, and there really isn't a job here that I haven't done or I don't know how to do. I'm not going to BS you. I can't run the automation. I'm just not prolific at it. I
Yeah.
understand it,
You
but
know
you
how
can.
to hire experts though. You
Mhm.
know where to go. Yeah. Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
skill too. But yeah.
yeah. But just knowing the whole process and how it all comes together, it's so valuable because I'm out
Yeah.
there working with somebody and they're like, "Hey, can we do it for this price?" Or, "Hey, can you redesign this and make this so it'll do this?" By having those skills, I'm able to give them a pretty quick answer, and that makes us a little easier to work with than some of our competition out in the field.
Where do you feel you yourself is most vulnerable at as far as you've done all, have you done, you probably haven't quite got to everything yet. Maybe you already have at WorkSaver, but do you have an area where you're like, I'm vulnerable there and I could utilize some either more time, more experience, talk to more resources. What's your take on that?
Prior to this year was accounting. And then
Okay.
our long-term accountant retired. And anyway, we didn't have anybody to take it over.
Yeah.
And cash flow was a little tight. So I just did it myself and taught myself how to do it and to get through that. Um, I would say the most vulnerable part we were at coming out of COVID was SOPs. We had a lot of tribal knowledge. A lot of us have this problem where we
Yeah.
have this core group that knows how to do everything. And so 3 years ago, we hired a person to go through and write the SOPs for every process we do here. And not only did we do it in the manufacturing, we did it in customer service, we did it in accounting, we did it in sales, just so on and so forth down. So, now that we have that covered, I feel pretty confident. There's a lot of things that we don't know how to do, maybe 100%, but we have a general understanding of it and we know who to go talk to get it done. So we kind of identified that weakness 3 years ago and been working on it and
Yeah.
we fixed it.
I like what you said individually, though. You were like, I didn't know anything about accounting. And so I decided to, dive in and you said your accountant left. So you had to kind of learn that skill. And I'm guessing the way you went about it was let's utilize technology. Let's utilize what's out there to help me out. And instead of just being like, okay, here's a pad and a paper and I'm going to start writing notes down. I'm going to do math. I mean, I'm guessing you went and used resources to help you out, right?
I use resources as in our accounting firm,
Oh,
but
okay. There you go.
but no, to do all the reconciliation and all this and that. I use my engineering degree, Joel. I reverse engineer everything we did, and
Yeah.
within a couple of weeks, I understood the whole process and then rebuilt it.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm addicted to the book called Atomic Habits. Have you read that book yet?
I have
You
not. No.
should. Okay, I'll send it to you after this, or
Okay.
I'll send you the audio book. I don't. I should read more books, but I listen to a lot of them. But either way, um, it's all about habit building and forming a habit and how you become good at something. And so accounting, I think, is a lot about a habits. It just reminded me because I'm a very small operation here over here. So, accounting is something that I was very, very poor at as well, but I've utilized a lot of resources, QuickBooks, a lot of different things that really help you out. But every Friday from like noon to 12 to 12:30, sometimes 1 o'clock, I reconcile, do all the books. It's way too often. Most accountants are going to be like, you're doing that way too often. But it's like, I just want to form the habit to know exactly where I'm at. Where are things at? Am I getting good value for this service? Am I getting what value? Do I know if I'm getting value for that service or not? So I don't know. It's all about habit forming and kind of doing those things. And Are you a habit forming guy, or can you relate to that?
I'm a process guy. I
Okay.
want to understand and develop the process, and then once I understand that, I find everything easy.
Okay.
So
Really?
anyway, that's kind of how I do it. But habits tied to process.
Yeah, it really
Mhm.
is.
Yeah. But no, like I said, as far as paying bills, you and I've talked. I mean, I listen to your podcast, and I do that on Saturdays when I'm doing the
Oh,
accounting
good.
work this year and everything.
Good. Let's
Yeah.
go. A little shout out to you. I'll shout out to you next time. Thank you. Um, what about goals? Are you a goal guy? What's your thoughts on goals or having goals? Yeah.
No, yeah, we definitely set goals. We as the ownership group will sit down, this time of year, and we set our budgets and kind of what we want to accomplish for next year. I think goals are important. I probably don't put enough emphasis on it. But for your team, when you have a group of people working on a project, it is nice for them to have goals and metrics to measure themselves against. When we do projects with our larger customers, contract customers, of course they have the gates, and so that's an instant meter to measure going towards the goals and everything. But as far do I sit down every year and write out everything I want to accomplish? I don't. I kind of flow with it. Been doing this long enough, Joe, to know that what I think I'm gonna be doing in June is not going to happen. So
Yeah. Right.
anyway, I try. We try to
That's
stay.
a skill too, by the way.
Yeah, we try to stay fluid and just move as things could come. But there are certain things that come along where you do have to stick to the grindstone and do keep the team on point and make sure you hit your target.
Yeah. Somebody brought up, I can't remember where I even heard this, but the Olympians, every Olympian that goes to the Olympics has the same goal. They want to win the gold medal, obviously, right? But
Mhm.
only one of them does. So what did that one person do differently that everybody else did? Now, it could have been that I mean, this is maybe a bad example. They might have had natural born skills at whatever, pole vaulting, you name the event. But they also might have had a different process to train for their event. Maybe they just out trained them because their process, the habit that they formed to get to that goal, everybody has the same goal, but the habits they formed just made them that far superior. You don't have to have much of an edge to gain a huge advantage on people. It's just a little bit more effort. And I don't know. I was kind of mesmerized by that. So I like what you said, like, hey, I'm a process guy. Sometimes that's the right way to be because really at that point, who cares what the goal is? As long as you know what the process is, the goal will come. You'll reach that.
Mhm.
But if you have a bad process in there, you also said, hey, I'm keenly aware of that. By June, I might have to pivot and punt. That's why I said there's skill in that, man. Not everybody recognizes that talent. Some people are like, nuh-uh, I'm sticking to it. I'm too iron-headed. I'm going. And yeah, I like that about you. I think that's super important. It's you might not realize it, but that's a real important quality and trait in a lot of businesses is to have that right process, but also not be afraid to pivot on it. So I don't know. I rambled again there. I said a lot. Maybe I didn't say much of anything, but
Well, if I can sum it up, I think what you're saying is to be successful in business is that you cannot fear change. You have to be willing to make change as opportunities arise. And
yeah,
anybody that's listened to Dad on the story of WorkSaver and everything, I mean, when you have a quarter or 35% of your business just go away, you got to be pretty flexible and nimble and able to get that back, build new, and to continue to thrive. And yeah, that's a skill. Once again, Dad taught me from an early age: is do not fear change, do not fear technology, utilize it, understand it, and just do the best you can with it.
yeah. What's your mom's name?
Paulette.
Paulette. I haven't told this story, but you were talking about your dad, but we were in Vegas. Um, for those of you that don't know, FEMA has conventions in the spring and fall, and this past fall was in Las Vegas. And we had Kurt Warner, the legendary, iconic football player, and we all did a meet and greet with him. And your mom and dad were in that room. I don't know.
Mhm.
Do you remember seeing them? Okay. And I had never met your mom, but I had met your dad. Obviously, I know your dad real well, but I had talked to your mom, and I want to say like it was close to their anniversary. Am I wrong in thinking this? Maybe
Yeah,
not, but
no, July is their anniversary, but
okay. So I talked to your mom and she's like, yeah, the sweetest lady,
Mhm.
And I didn't know she was your mom at first. And she was like, yeah, I've been married for however many years. And, the key to a happy marriage was, basically she just said, you just got to love each other. And I looked over at my wife and I was like, we've been married almost 20 years, and you think that's a long time. And then you look at your mom and dad, and I don't know, you could tell me, I'm sure you probably know, they've been married how long?
58.
58 years. I mean, they don't know life without each other. And it was just a special thing for me to hear. I don't know why I was kind of frazzled and roused because I was about ready to interview Kurt Warner, and your mom's voice and that simple thing of you just gotta love him. And through all the ups and downs and all the things, there your mom was kind of by his side. And it's one of those things that we don't talk about probably as often as we should, is the people that are by your side through it all, through all these ups and downs. And in yours and I's case, it's our wife's. In your dad's case, it's his wife and your mom. But
Mhm.
I don't know, talk about your mom a little bit here in this. I mean, it was a super sweet moment, and I was super honored to meet her. She may not remember meeting me, but I definitely remember it, and I will for the rest of my life. It was a really cool moment.
Yeah, actually, I was at her house with the girls last night decorating for Christmas, and I said,
Oh,
you and I
nice.
had a little podcast this afternoon. She's like, "Oh, I just love Joe. He's so nice."
Oh,
So
that's
anyway,
awesome. That's
yeah,
great. I'm glad she connected. Like I felt we connected that, you have a weird moment with somebody. And I was like, I'm on the same page with you. I totally get it. And I love that about it. I'm glad she had that same connection. That's great. That's good. But anyway,
yeah.
keep going.
But no, like I said, any of us in this industry, any business, it doesn't have to be just agriculture, but you have to have a strong partner at home. And that was my mother for my father. Anybody that listened to the story Dad's told, the early 80s were horrible. This place was losing money. He spent 16 plus hours a day down here. He was the president, the sales manager, the engineer. He wore about
The
every hat.
janitor, the
Pretty,
everything. Yeah.
pretty
Yeah. Yeah.
much.
Yep.
Yeah, luckily, like I said, I was born in '79, so I don't remember a lot about the early years. But anyway, mom, raised us three kids. And, the home was her responsibility, and us children were her responsibility. And, dad had to be here to make this company turn around and to make it grow and to make a go of it. And, you never know what pressure is until you wonder where the next meal's coming from. And
Right.
dad's back was pushed against the wall, and he had to do it. There was no ifs, ands, whats, or but it. And anyway, luckily, I'd never been through those hard of times. But I understand from watching my father growing up what it takes to run a business and the level of commitment, the hours, the fact that you got a problem somewhere. Your ass jumps in the truck and you go drive and take care of it.
Yep.
So I'm very fortunate too. My wife Heather is a very strong and independent person, and she raises my girls as well. And it's kind of funny, Joe. The months of September, October, November is nothing but trade shows, conventions. And so anyway, I've been gone quite a bit, and I come home and I realize, hey, I'm interrupting their schedule. I'm the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
through the holidays,
Exactly.
we're like, you need to leave again. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's time for you to go. No,
yeah.
but that's the sign of a strong partner, because imagine going through what your dad went through and then having to come home and raise kids and do all. I mean, you couldn't do it. There's just zero chance. You have to have somebody strong like your mom Paulette by his side going through it all. And the same with you and Heather. You would have no chance to do this without her being gone. To your point, man. October, November, really, yeah, October, November, and even me part of December here. I've been traveling every week this week or
Mhm.
this month, and still got one more week of it. It's just the way it works. And so, yeah, man, I can tell you kind of are who you are because of your dad, everybody thinks you and your dad are a lot alike, but I could see your mom. It was, you kind of see your mom coming out in you as well. And obviously, she was a huge part of raising you up, right?
Oh yes, no, very much so.
Yeah.
She'll tell you the good parts came from her.
Nice, nice.
No.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So your dad, he still works. He's still
Oh
going
yeah,
in on all the
86,
time.
still here every
No
day.
kidding.
So
I'll be
he
damned.
retired in '06, and that's when we promoted Mike Kloster to president.
Yep.
But this is Dad's life. This is his hobby, his passion. When years ago, probably 20 years ago, I tried to get him to do sporting clays. I tried to get him to play golf. I tried to do a couple other things. He likes to build equipment. And so, research and development is what he's been doing the last 19 years since he officially retired. And
Nice.
Mike and I have been running the company with our teams.
That's awesome.
But he
That's
goes to
awesome.
the coffee shop and he comes in with the daily tea from the coffee shop. And I had to throw a young kid word in there. And anyway, so it'll be 8:30, but he'll still be here 5:30 at night. It's just what he does.
Yeah. And you said you have siblings. I didn't know you had siblings. I don't know if I've ever met them. Older, younger?
Yeah, older. I'm the youngest of three.
You're the youngest of three. Okay.
My brother Tom is in Van Wert, Ohio. Him and his group run a John Deere dealership chain in Ohio and Indiana. And then my sister Christina, she's in San Antonio, Texas. And she's currently doing scuba dive teaching, and I think it's a pretty awesome career. Her and her husband just got back from Roatan, outside of Honduras, and I was like, well, that'd be kind of cool to go do. So anyway,
have you ever been scuba diving before?
No.
Oh, dude, it's so funny. A quick scuba diving story. I have gone before, and my wife's dad, my father-in-law, he's a big scuba diver, and so is my brother-in-law. So we went, I'm trying to think where we were at. I can't remember where we were at, somewhere in the Caribbean. And I go for the first time and I get in, I don't even know what it's called, but how you breathe, stick it in my mouth. And before you go down, I did a little course at the pool. I put it in my mouth, but before you go down under the water, I'm on a rope and I'm like a baby attached to the guide. I mean, I look like a little baby. Like I think I'm hooked to her and everything. Those guys all barrel down. They're down already checking stuff out. And I'm putting the thing in my mouth and I'm like, I go underwater like literally an inch and I come back up. I'm like, yeah, this isn't working. I'm like, it's not working. I don't get any air, but I'm kind of saying it really fast. So they're like, no, we promise it's working. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's not friggin' working. I put it in my mouth. I go back down. I come back up like I'm a foot underwater. I'm like, I can't breathe. It's not working. And come to find out, it was working the whole time. I was just friggin' panic attacking like crazy, man. And finally, once I realized it's all about calming your breath. Your sister would be a fun one to have a conversation with, but dude, it's claustrophobic. It's weird, but once you get down there and it's calm, you feel like you're on a totally different planet because it's like, what am I in a fishbowl? This is unbelievable. It's a really cool career. But anyway, a little squirrel there on scuba diving. But if you're claustrophobic, don't do it because it can show you up something fierce. But okay, well, that's cool. So you got a brother that runs a deer dealership. She's there. Does everybody come back for the holidays? What's the holiday plan here?
Yeah, usually Tom and his family will come in for Thanksgiving, and then Christina and her husband Brian, they'll come up around Christmas. So yeah, they usually, and it's just the way it kind of works out. But yeah, they try to see mom and dad at least 2 or 3 times a year.
That's awesome. Well, very cool, man. Yeah, like I said, this is coming out 2026. So there was a lot of little good nuggets in here. And I want to have you on as a regular because I think your voice just speaks loudly in this industry, just and in business as well. So I guess let's just kind of end by giving me your kind of overall cap on, or overall opinion, I guess, professional advice on maybe 2026 here and 2027, 2028. To your point, you said tariffs happen. We don't know what's going to happen in 3 years. Who cares where you stand politically? You can't control it anyways. So forget about that. But 2026, it's going to be here. And what's your kind of just 30,000 foot view on where this trend is going and what you think folks should be looking at and directions they should be going? And we'll kind of wrap her up here with that. Tim's advice here.
No pressure at all, Joe. No, I think the general economy is going to start showing signs of improvement. I can tell you on our end, we're already seeing it. I will tell you that I've heard numbers anywhere from 7% to 15% improvement through Q2 of 26. With the improvements, I've been doing the buying at WorkSaver for over 20 years. I love buying.
Okay.
I call my wife a rookie. Anyway, I watch the steel mills and the steel mill production. I can gauge that, and I can tell you after 20 years, you can tell what's going to happen, and we're going to start seeing prices increase as we start producing more tons every week. So I would just say, take a look at your inventories on materials and everything, and might want to buy just a little ahead, but. For whatever it's worth, I think we will see about a 10% increase in business. I think people that have done the same thing that we are doing with developing new products, developing new customers, and just continuously working on the chain are going to succeed. And I'm confident in that. But I'll tell you what, Joe, come March 26th through 28th, my butt's going to be in San Antonio at the FEMA convention, learning, listening, and help to pave the future of the way WorkSaver's going.
Yeah. Dude, that was awesome, by the way. That's going to be a golden little clip. So I'll mark that. But yeah, you're so true. And, surrounding yourself with the right people, taking care of your customers, staying in tune with the industry, I think is super critical and important. And also going back, that's like going back to the basics. Stay engulfed in the industry, everyone. And to Tim's point, FEMA is such a great way to do that. Get involved with an organization like that so you understand where the market's going. So you can talk to people like Tim and he's looking at steel prices, and maybe you're looking at the price of whatever other commodity, and collectively that information is so much better. It's like the theme, we're so much better together here.
Mm-hmm.
And FEMA is the other is an organization that doesn't just look out for numero uno. It's truly a collective. And I think each company and each organization truly is there to help one another and not just benefit themselves, because collectively, if the organization's better, everyone's better. We all win, So great words of wisdom, man. Every time you and I talk, we set a record for the longest podcast I've ever done, and we're already past it. We blew past that again. So you're just a heck of a voice, man. And I'm grateful to know you. I'm grateful to have met and connected with your parents a little bit better. For some reason, that just makes me feel even that much more strong about an individual. So tell your mom and dad hello this season. And look forward to talking again. Let's just keep talking and keep doing this. Keep making this a regular thing. You're one of two people that have done two episodes. So be the first to do 3. So tell everybody.
Mark and I, right?
Yep, exactly.
Mark and I,
yeah. I forgot about Mark. He was he did kind of one with someone else, but yeah. Tell everybody how to get in touch with you, how to get in touch with WorkSaver. What's the best way to reach you?
Sure. WorkSaver.com. It's got all our contact info and everything. And I'm a real unoriginal person. It's Tim at WorkSaver.com. So anyway, please reach out. Anybody, if you got questions, you give one more plug to FEMA here. And I mean this with all my heart. At FEMA, we want to see you succeed, and we will help you and help you grow your company or help you deal with a problem. And that is the most powerful message that I can and guidance I can give anybody out there listening to this that is looking for a place to belong. And, with what Joe and his team and the staff at FEMA are doing in the next 6 months, it's really going to change. It's really going to become more aggressive, and it will be the place to belong to in agriculture.
Yeah, we're going to be the thought leader again. And I'm looking so forward to that. And it's so true, Tim. You're spot on, my friend. Appreciate you. Check Tim out. I'll put all your information in the show notes so everybody get in touch with you. Reach driven leaders with the Germinate Podcast. Sponsor our show to align your brand with actionable insights and purposeful growth. Contact us today at embosales.com/podcast. That's www.embosales.com/podcast to partner and inspire our growing audience of professionals. Hey folks, thanks for tuning into the Germinate Podcast. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others in the industry. And join me next time as we continue to explore the innovations and strategies shaping the future of agriculture and business. Until then, keep growing, keep innovating, and keep germinating your success.